Every year, thousands report the same experience. Abductions, missing time, and encounters with beings not from this earth. They were taken, and now the truth is being analyzed. This is Taken, the Analyst Files.
Namaste. I want to say my name is Lou Valentino. I've been meditating for 47 years, twice a day, and I've never stopped in between or all that. I just 47 years straight. I started TM in 1978, August of 1978. So that was my start of my opening, was to forming a relationship with silence and trying to not necessarily trying, but having a very deep experience of bliss, consciousness from within, releasing a lot of stress. So as the years went on, my intuition started to open up more and more. And then I started to channel information on extraterrestrials and stuff. And the Pleiadians is the main group that I'm affiliated with, although I am affiliated with a lot of other groups also. I had a reading about 42 years ago, a channel reading from Lord Ashtar of the Ashtar Command. There was a gentleman who had been channeling Lord Ashtar for quite a number of years. In that reading, I was told that I had been involved as a volunteer from somewhere around 6 to 8 million years ago. It was the start of my journey. I have been a rainbow warrior in the Orion Wars under the order of Sanat Kumara. Sanat Kumara, Ascended Master, he kind of looks like this with his wife. This is the over the logos of Venus. So he's the overlord of Venus. Him and his wife is Master Lady Venus, I think they call her. But Sanat Kumara was the Earth. He volunteered to overlook Earth at one point. Now there's different timelines for that I've seen, especially from the Theosophical Society, that it could have been the longest, as much as 18 million years ago, that he started to overlook the planet, because we do have points in time and space, as most viewers know, where we've had very dark times, extremely dark, and where the light was just almost extinct here in our souls.
You're speaking kind of the yugas, correct?
Those are the yugas, the ages, the Kali Yuga, the Sat Yugas, the Golden Age. But with him, he brought the threefold flame at one point. So if you look up threefold flame technique, I'm going to be mentioning a lot of techniques. So I'm not into one thing, and I do my TM every day. That's a pretty given. But
when you say TM, so that people know, you're talking transcendental meditation. Correct?
Yeah, transcendental meditation. That's where my background. I became a graduate of the Science of Creative Intelligence, which is Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. He taught, it's like a 33 videotape class. And then I became, I took the advanced courses. I worked at his university for a while. I'm no longer a part of that. And I have my own technique called Inner Grace Meditation. That's similar to TM, but not exactly the same thing. So I could become a TM teacher, but I didn't feel comfortable in the organization. I felt it was too conservative, and that it just felt like there was too much control. I felt Maharishi was he had guidelines. If you didn't meet those guidelines, they would go on my websites, and then they would say, you're an astrologer, therefore you can't meditate with the larger group anymore. These kind of judgments that go on. Yeah. This happens in all organizations. From the information that I have, once a group grows beyond 100 people, it becomes susceptible to ego manipulations.
Yeah.
And we've seen this with large spiritual groups and religious organizations and political organizations and the health organization. Everything gets so big. So part of the future that I'm channeling is that they want to downsize things. Okay, so part of the contact with UFOs is they want to have these, what Bashar calls social engineers, I think is what he called them. And so they want to downsize. You're going to get a lot of specifics. Bashar's not telling anybody because he only can say so much, but I can, pretty much.
Yeah.
So when you downsize a group, you fulfill the law of Christ, which was love thy neighbor as you love thyself. We don't have that going on right now.
No, we do not.
Right now, it's love thy money as you love money. I mean, I hate to say it.
Yep.
But, it's Wall
No,
Street.
it's true.
It's an international system of banking families who have taken over. So when I became more awake and more open, as I do every day when I meditate, I still meditate twice a day. It'll be 48 years in August, and I'm just continuing to keep cleaning out the 2 strands of DNA that we have. Okay. We should be at 12 strands at some point, and then you can go up to 24. So the first 6 dimensions, you have 12 dimensions. Now there's some teachers that say there's only 7, there's only 8, there's only 9. I think 12 is the magic number because there are 12 calendar months. There's 12 zodiac signs. There's 12 notes in the musical alphabet. There's 12 disciples of Christ, and there's 12 tribes of Israel. So this 12 keeps coming up as the main number for dimensions. The very first 6 dimensions, you develop up to 12 strands of DNA. From the 7th dimension, where the Ascended Masters start at the 7th and they go up to the 12th, they can get to 24 strands. So the more strands you develop, which is what we're going to be doing, some people are starting to do it already with downloading certain light codes. Bashar recently had said, and I heard this on the tape, okay, so I've watched some tapes of him. When I was writing the book is called Full Moon Messages from the Pleiadians. And the entity that I channel is called Aim. Aim is in the seventh, there's 12 levels within the 12 dimensions, but you can see how human appearing they are.
Yeah.
And how beautiful. Very beautiful. This photo is by Andre Below. He's an award-winning photographer, digital photographer. So these photos are throughout the Kindle book that you can get on Amazon.com. And basically, when I started to channel Aim, my soul twin brother, I was getting information about the DNAs, right? The strands, and we were thinking. It sounded like we were going to be getting certain technologies called Elohim consciousness light technologies that they have, very advanced. The Pleiadians are 8,000 years ahead of us technologically.
Now, those light technologies, would that be something like med beds?
It's partly that, is it? Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes they're called acceleration chairs that you sit in, that all the ships have. Some of them, it's not only a bed. It can be a bed. It can be enclosed. It can be not enclosed. It can be like a stand-up. Those tanning salons where you can stand up and you're surrounded. It can be like that. It also has other open rooms where you have certain figures that are chanting certain mantras, sounds, along with certain rods of light. These rods of light are very thin, and they spin them at certain megahertz that we don't even have here on the planet. When they spin, they're like drills, and they can go into any area of your body, any organ, and they can measure the megahertz of each one of your organs based on your physiological makeup. So everybody's different. Yeah. So let's say they went into you and they saw this, that they have like they can measure you in like less than 5 minutes, knowing what's going on. And if they feel, well, the liver's not at 60 megahertz or 10,000 megahertz, and the other organ over here, all these other organs are averaging out, they can speed it up by shooting these white light rays into you. And then they spin it, and the sound and the color, so light, sound, and color become the therapies. And they have just a way of, increasing the megahertz, so that they can go in instantly and kill. Now, the average age for the Pleiadians is around 700 to 1,000 years old, but they all look like they're in their 20s, early 20s.
Yeah.
They don't have any health problems. There's no cancer, no dementia, no Alzheimer's or parts of dementia. There's no diabetes, no Parkinson's or anything like that.
None of that, just nothing.
Yeah, health. So here in the physical world, we certainly have a lot of that. But so that's, the channeling of the book is asking a lot of questions to Aim from the collective consciousness of the planet. What do people want to ask him? All right. Now, this is automatic writing. So I don't channel him and it's a soul transference and my voice changes and that, which you see a lot on the YouTube, stuff where people,
Right. Yeah.
it's not like that. I go to the keyboard and I immediately have access to that level, the 7th level of the 6th dimension. There's 12 levels in each dimension. Okay.
Yeah.
So that you're evolving and going through. And so when I did that, that's when I started. I just want to read something to everybody in the audience about politics. It says here, one of the questions, what is the political ideology of the Pleiadians? All right. And he says, Aim, our political system is non-political. We do not encourage competition or taking sides. We certainly do not need to manipulate each other through any physical means, since we work with light frequencies of energy very well. Love is free in our culture. It is not something we mold with the machinery of mind. We do not live in fear as you do, so we have no need to protect love from itself. And then he says, we see abundance, money. They don't have any physical form of money, but they see abundance as rays of golden white light and other colors of the rainbow you witness if your weather environment is set up to see these colors. And we exchange these color rays with everything and everyone we meet. We have grown out of the need to own anyone or anything because light waves flow so fast here. It is almost impossible to get stuck in matter. Okay? It is impossible to get stuck in a relationship or a job. We're flowing in and out of bliss every minute because of our elevated level of self-confidence. We are no longer dependent on any outside institution to manage our energies because we can manage them ourselves. And then it goes on. So I'm just reading a little bit because the channeled information, it's hard to recapture because it's automatic writing. When it's flowing, it goes for me to recapture everything. So I read, sometimes I'll read. So these Elohim consciousness light technologies that they want to bring to us. Now, most of the evolved ETs are human appearing. Okay. So the ET movement, the UFO movement in the United States and around the world, they keep going back to the grays, the big eyes, the short height. That is your profession because you're doing the abduction cases.
Right.
You and I know that the abductions, they started probably mostly getting more fertile after World War II. Even though it was before that. But it was supposedly President Eisenhower in 1954 who made an agreement with the Greys. The Pleiadians went there. The Pleiadians approached him first and said that we would like to exchange technologies with you, but in order to do that, you have to give up your nuclear arsenals. He didn't want to do that. So the Greys gave him the fact that they could take advantage of their technology, but they still could keep the nuclear bombs, nuclear warheads. So that was a really sad turning point there,
I agree. Yeah.
But you know that, the Greys are, they're dying out. The original members are dying out. And when the contact happens and the Intergalactic, Galactic Confederation, Universal Confederation, when they start to get more influenced here, they're going to quarantine them so that they're not a part of the 5th dimensional Earth that we're going to be going into. We're already going into it, but they're going to quarantine them so that if they want to continue that program, they can, but on a different Earth. There's 2 other Earths now. The third one they've almost got finished that have the exact same environment, oxygen for the exact type of body, the carbon-based physiology,
right?
So that they can continue on that planet without having to disrupt the other souls that want to continue on to the new 5th dimension.
And the 5th dimension, from what I understand, we will be more crystalline. Is that correct?
Yeah, what it does is it gets more refined. You have you have basically very dense physical here. You know, the flesh bodies we have.
Yeah.
Okay. Then when you start refining, you get part etheric, part physical in the fifth. When you get up to the sixth, it's more refined physical, more refined etheric. And then when you get to the seventh, it's pretty much getting into an etheric body, a light body completely. But it takes steps. It does take evolution, to
Yeah.
learn your lessons and stuff and get to that point.
Which dimension would heaven be? I've always thought the sixth, but I don't know.
I think it's the seventh, because when you get to the ascent, that's why they've ascended. They've learned all their lessons in the lower six dimensions. So now they've ascended to the seventh. And the sixth dimension, for the volunteers such as myself that are from the sixth dimension, we have more of a pull in the heart area towards God consciousness. Now, that doesn't make us better than anybody else.
No.
We're all
nobody's better than anybody. Yeah,
no. It's all one. It's all unified.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens is we're more humanitarian.
Okay.
We care about what's going on with animals and people and the hungry and disabled and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The volunteers from the fifth dimension, which there are more of, I would say, Ayin told me at least 70% are from the fifth, only 30% from the sixth.
Oh.
Here on Earth. And so in the fifth, great teachers, authors, they're unbelievable. I'm Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, he was from the fifth. Now there's going to be a lot of TM teachers. If they hear that, they're going to be, but you know what I'm saying. But they're from the fifth. They're the educators. They're unbelievable teachers. We've seen a lot of New Age authors fall, the ones that are writing a lot of books and selling a lot of books. They are from the fifth dimension, lower fifth, because they don't look at it in a broad perspective humanitarian. They're not interested in helping the world at large from hunger and starvation. So one of the things Ayin was telling me is that one of the ways that we're going to gain trust with those entities, those races that come, is through a very large humanitarian project where they're going to have millions of ships being able to go into different areas that are very impoverished. You're talking about the slums of India, Philippines, Africa, South America, anywhere in between, where people don't even have a sanitary place to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And they're going to bring this Elohim light technology on a ship that's as big as, let's say, a football field. And it will beam down the white bleach, they could call it. We call it liquid bleach when we want to purify and get rid of germs and viruses and all that kind of stuff. They can shoot that down and clean up an area in a very little bit of time with, let's say you get 1,000 ships in an area or something. You can really cover a lot of area.
Oh, yeah.
And that's going to clean up the environment. And then they also will add humanitarian services to those people to try and get their energy to vibrate higher, to help them, give them some help. And doing that, it gains the trust of people on planet Earth. Oh, wow, wow, look what they're doing. They're helping us. Isn't that so benevolent and so kind of them to do that? Rather than thinking about ET races wanting to invade from the old Orion Wars, we have these right?
And I think a lot of people nowadays, when they think of extraterrestrials, that's where their mind goes, because we have all these movies. Me personally, I can think of one extraterrestrial movie that wasn't negative, and that was E.T.
That was, and the other one was
and maybe Contact.
The third, what was the one? Contact of the Third Kind, or
Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
That was my favorite.
That one, you would think somebody like me would have seen that movie a million times. I've seen bits and pieces of it, but I've never actually sat down and watched it. One of these days I will.
Yeah, the ending is unbelievable. It's really unbelievable. There's an artist called Celia Winkler.
Okay.
Now, when she was alive, she basically, I don't know if I have any information on her. Let me see. Yeah, she did some work as an artist for Disney. Celia Winkler was a highly clairvoyant artist who
Hmm.
painted many earth and cosmic masters between 1969 to the early 1980s. She worked for Walt Disney Studios for some time as an artist and later moved to California desert, where she lived near prominent figures of the early UFO movement. Her work includes postcards featuring various celestial beings and spiritual guides, which are now part of the collection, blah, blah, blah. So I just wanted to show you the human appearing, just a couple of them. So, and it's her paintings. One of them was of Lord Ashtar, looking like this,
Mhm. Yeah, I've seen a lot of pictures of him.
And then you have this one. This is cool. Cthulhu, the world teacher, also known as Pythagoras, one of the three wise men, Saint Francis of Assisi, and the builder of the Taj Mahal. This is Cthulhu.
Oh, wow.
Now, everybody out there, UFO, these are extraterrestrials.
Yeah.
All right.
A lot of people might say that looks like Jesus.
Yeah. And this is a great one because Valentine's Day is coming up. We're doing the taping on February, 11th today? So February 30th. Cha-Ara, ascended master of precipitation and longevity, creator of the first rose on Earth.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Okay, not praying mantises and not guys, and I'm just saying I'm not putting it down. I'm not putting Bashar down because Bashar's everybody has a specialty.
Yeah.
Okay, and he knows what his specialty.
Yeah, his first contact.
His specialty, yeah, that's part of it. His specialty is to introduce the hybrids that have been created through the experiment that you are involved with, which is the grace. Okay. It's manifested to over the years. Now, the book by Sheldon Neidl and Virginia Essene called "You Are Becoming a Galactic Human." This book was, I think it was published in 1994, if I'm not mistaken, 1992. And in this book, there's a lot of information that's really solid. One of the things he says was at that time, in the early 1990s, there was at least 84,000 hybrid children that were created at that time. But now, but now I don't know. Do you know what the number is at all?
I don't.
Yeah, I wonder how many. Bashar would know because
a lot.
That's his specialty.
Yeah,
that's his specialty is to reintroduce the hybrids. Now, we can always agree and disagree with any teacher that we have in any knowledge. I've had several teachers I haven't agreed with everything they say, and I'm sure that people, when they listen to me, they're not going to agree with everything I say.
I think that's
open democracy and dialogue is part of our republic. And but the idea that they're vibrating at a higher level and they're going to be the ones that are going to lead us into the new age, I don't see that happening. Okay, because the more human appearing ones are going to be the ones that we're more attracted to at the beginning, and they're all working together. In other words, in the Sasani culture, which Bashar is a part of, they are 3,000 years ahead of us technologically.
Which really doesn't seem like that much, but boy.
But the Pleiadians are 8,000. But the Pleiadians are 8,000 years ahead. Then you got the Syrians, you got the Arcturians, you got the Andromeda. They're all, they all have their own thing. And there's gonna be, to those out there not realizing this, who've been watching this, Bashar is very popular. God bless Daryl Ankin sharing all this knowledge. God bless him. But there's hundreds of first contact specialists coming.
Oh yeah, there's
several different races from several different races. So I don't want them to get so stuck on the hybrids. Are fine, they are advanced in certain ways, but the main genetics of us is Elohim. It's light genetics. It's not reproduced as cloning from another race and all that. That's the original. If you read the 64 Keys of Enoch by Dr. Hertek, that has a lot of the light genetic frequency codes in that book. It's not the only book, and I'm going to be sharing a lot of stuff, but that's a big part of the light genetics that we're going to be introduced to Elohim, consciousness, light technology.
So where does the story come from that, we were seeded by, multiple extraterrestrial races?
Well, this is interesting, and I love the question, because when you listen to Bashar, he's saying that it's the Anunnaki
Right.
that changed the ape into, Homo sapien into a certain, I don't know all the names of that. I'm not a, but if you look in the book which Sheldon Idle and Virginia seen, an etheric intelligence civilization started 35 million years ago.
Okay.
Then it became Denoid Reptoid invasion was 26 million years ago. The rise of pre-Cetacean was 18 million years ago. The start of the Orion scenario, remember the Orion Wars, 10 million years ago. The destruction of Denoid Reptoid group, meaning through the Orion Wars, we fought on them 8 million years ago. Earth recovering from the attack 6 million years ago. The Federation was formed, Earth selected for seeding 4 million years ago. In Hibernia, which I worked in the etheric bodies to set up healing temples with music and stuff. That started 2 million years ago. Then Hibernia was destroyed 1 million years ago. And then Lemuria was founded 900,000 years ago.
Okay.
Well, there were human beings already on Lemuria before the Anunnaki invaded the apes in Africa. I mean, come on. I mean, so I really don't. There's too much of this getting stuck on the Anunnaki. Somehow he says we all would have ended up as Sasquatch or whatever, those big, tall.
Yeah, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, yeah.
So in terms of the history of Lyra, right? The original Lyra, which I think started some 20 million years ago. There is a book, and she's done great work. Liza Royal,
Okay.
the Prison of Lyra.
Okay.
This book was, I think, out in the early 19. Let me see what the copyright is on this. Yeah, she talks about that was the start in the local Vega galaxy, our galaxy, on different beings, the womb of Lyra, she calls it, this Sirius factor, the winds of Orion, Earth's Pleiadian cousins, the gateway of Arcturus, Earth. These are kind of the chapters in her book. And I'm not seeing a copyright date here. Where is it? Okay, it's copyrighted, first published in 1989. So, giving a little bit of history here for people who have been in the UFO community for so many years. And a lot of people don't know that the first UFO crashes that they retrieved was not in Roswell. It was in Italy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
1931.
Well, and even before Roswell, there was like Kingman,
Yes.
In Arizona, there were other ones too. It wasn't just Roswell.
But in Italy was the first recorded.
Italy has a lot.
Near Vienna, and the United States ended up getting that spaceship in 1945, buying it from
So
Italy.
what year was that then in Italy?
1931 and 1933. I think there were a couple of crashes.
Okay.
They did get some aliens, similar to what we have heard about the Roswell incident.
Okay.
Yeah, so do you have any questions?
I mean, not about this part. I have other questions. Do you want me to go over a couple of those, or do you have something you want to add to this?
Yeah, please, too. Yeah, ask a question. You know me, I go off like on a question, and
No, actually, I love that because I like listening and learning, and you know what I mean?
Yeah,
okay, so here's one of my questions. You describe your book as a roadmap for humanity from 2024 to 2044. If someone only understands one thing about that timeline, what should it be?
Okay. Yeah. 2024 to 2044.
Yeah.
Was the preparation phase. There's 4 phases.
Okay.
So the preparation phase is us getting first contact. At some point between 2024 and 2044, Pluto and Aquarius. Okay.
Okay.
For astrologers out there. That 20-year period, excuse me, that would be at some point we're going to have a major, that contact that we've wanted, that kind of trips the switch from the social hypnosis that's going on planet Earth. You know,
Yeah.
as a hypnotherapist, we know if we're spiritually aware, the world is being hypnotized. It has been controlled and hypnotized.
Manipulated and oh yeah.
Yeah. And Bashar is correct. I got to give him credit. I really do. That the conspiracy theories, we really need to get away from that and start focusing on our responsibility. That's probably one of the best things I've heard him say. Focusing on our spiritual responsibility, because we're the ones that are feeding all these groups that everybody keeps talking about. The deep cabal, the international banking system, the World Health Organization, or whoever else. We're giving them our money. You don't have to give them your money. We don't have to have an international banking system.
No.
So we're feeding the mouth of the entities that we're pointing the finger at as controlling our lives. That needs to change. We need to get more, bring our energy back here.
So how do we do that exactly? You know,
you spend more time having a relationship with silence. That's how you do it. There's a lot of talking going on YouTube. I'm not trying to be judgmental and critical here, but we can talk on and on and on about geometric patterns and all these techniques and downloading light codes. But with the ancient therapies of sound, the mantras from India especially, those mantras, the Bijur seed mantras, they help to form a gap in the mind, and then you go deep, deep into the silence. And then the silence grows and grows and grows so that by 10 minutes into the meditation, I call my technique inner grace meditation. Okay. So you're going deep, 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 deep. And then you go into a deeper state of rest that your deep sleep cycle can provide. By having a relationship with silence, you anchor your true self, which is bliss consciousness.
Yeah.
Buddha called it nirvana. Krishna called it pure consciousness. Maharishi Patanjali in the yoga system call it samadhi. They're all calling it different names, but it's this sense of being centered. Then you come out and you act. Science of being, art of living. Science of being, the art of it. But if we're just going to keep like in Atlantis, if we're going to make the crystals and everything else a priority, you can get sidetracked. And you can then that's when Atlantis wanted to destroy its own mother, Lemuria. Lemuria was there. She was there, the mother, and then her daughter continents, Atlantis and Egypt and China and all that. They came afterwards. So Atlantis got to the point where, and we see this, the yugas, the ages that you're talking about. We see this happening throughout history. A lot of people don't realize that with the yugas, yuga means age. Mm-hmm. So if you Kali Yuga, it's the dark age. Okay, so that's what we've been in.
Right.
It has a certain length of time, and the length of time is so long. I don't want to get into it. I don't even know.
12,600 years, isn't it?
Yeah, it's more than that. It's a lot more than that. But then there is Sat Yuga, which is the golden age. Mm-hmm. We're moving it, but what people don't realize is that you can have in certain parts of the earth a country that's experiencing Sat Yuga, while another country is experiencing Kali Yuga or Dwapara Yuga or
absolutely,
yeah, and that's why we've had different things going on. Like in India, at one point was so spiritual because, as I point out in my book, the channel information that I'm getting is that the wise ones of Lemuria 40,000 years ago went and traveled to what was then still called Sri Lanka, but it was a much bigger island. It was attached to southern India. And they brought the knowledge of the mantras and sounds and light that they had gotten from other extraterrestrial races to that island. And then they moved it up into India, which eventually became the holy tradition / Vedic tradition of India. But at one point, it was very, very elevated, and people were living hundreds of years long. And there's all kinds of stuff that's buried, and the ocean floors,
Even with like Egypt, you look at the King's List, how long they were alive, same thing.
Yeah. And then on the decline, You had started to get to wars. Lord Rama fought a war. Lord Krishna fought the Mahabharata War. Millions of people died in that war. He was 89 years old when he fought the war, and he died at 125. That was Krishna. That's at the end. That's like going into Kali Yuga. The lifespan gets shorter and shorter and shorter.
Yeah.
So by the time he got to the Roman Empire, maybe you lived to be 25.
Yeah.
Now we're coming back up, right?
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. That's so interesting.
What was the original question? I forgot.
It was as far as the roadmap from the 2024 to 2044.
Yeah,
if
so
someone only understands one thing in that about that timeline, what would it be? Was the question.
That is preparation phase is getting to know each other, learning about the new technologies, experiencing miracles on Earth. This is especially in the healthcare industry.
Oh,
this is it. Our health.
If you want to call it that, I don't know that I'd call it healthcare.
No, we don't. Right, but I mean, we're going to start experiencing technologies that they have, these Elohim consciousness light technologies, where the reversal of aging is going to be tremendous. I mean, we're going to get to the point where, you spend a few years, 5 years, but you can reverse. You can look like you were, when you were in college.
Do you think that'll be in our lifetimes?
Yeah. Well. Oh, yeah. Definitely.
That's kind of what I was thinking too.
It's going to take 10 years. It'll take about a 10-year period for people to get used to everything and get going. But as of today, there are robots that are doing open heart surgery without opening up the chest cavity.
Oh, really?
Yeah, robots, yeah.
I didn't know without opening the chest cavity.
Yeah, without opening it up.
I have to look into that. I have no idea.
We're seeing a little bit of the sparkles of enlightenment coming into healthcare. Healthcare and the international banking system are the two most evil institutions on planet Earth. Evil is live spelled backwards. So anything anti-life, anti-evolutionary is evil. And the reason why they're evil is because they've had people that have come forward, another doctor now, Asian doctor in Los Angeles, come forward with cures for cancer by taking this, and they've proven it. And, they just turn them down and stuff. So
or kill them.
Everything is evil in the healthcare system. I'm not telling people not to go see their doctor or anything. I get a checkup once a year. But tune into Andrew Lessman on Home Shopping Network in the United States when he's on, because he has been manufacturing high-quality vitamin and mineral supplements for like 42 years. His company is called ProCaps. It's out in Nevada, and the whole company is run on solar energy.
Oh, okay.
So he's a really wonderful light worker. So if you tune in and get educated, even if you don't buy any of his minerals or vitamins, at least you get good education. He's a very, very good educator. Yeah. And this is where the traditional medicine has failed us.
Well, yeah, because if you can only get that on the Home Shopping Network, I mean, you know what I mean? People don't take that as seriously as they would from, getting it from your doctor. So, exactly. And then that's where he's stuck selling things like this.
But he's not stuck. I've worked for nutritional companies for 8 years, Ayurvedic medicine. Okay. Yeah. I worked for Deepak Chopra, although I'm having a hard time saying his name now, but and then there is, I worked for Robert Barefoot. We did the infomercial on coral calcium from Okinawa, Japan. So I've seen what the industry can do. And to get on national television is a miracle.
Yeah.
An absolute miracle. Yeah. So Andrew Lessman has, I don't know how he's done it, but he sells more product on HSN than any other host of any product. Really? He's very popular, and he's from the sixth dimension. No question about it. Cares about people. He loves his dogs. Sometimes he used to bring his dogs on. He's just a really highly educated, caring person who knows what he's talking about. And so you're right. Getting back to what you just said, if doctors would have just recommended these things in the first place, holistic healthcare is the window for calming all the violence down in the world.
Yes, Absolutely.
If people would get into holy, if they would just, if the leaders of, we don't have good enlightened leaders in the world. So if the leaders in politics and religion would encourage their citizens to get involved in holistic healthcare, I'm talking about
Exactly.
even
Yeah.
especially the medical community, then we would see that, car accidents go down and hospital admissions go down and all our premiums insurance would go down because we'd be healthier.
Yeah.
Our car insurance would go down because there'd be less accidents.
But then they wouldn't make any money, and that's why it's suppressed.
Well, that's the reason why we have to have first contact.
Yeah, I agree.
The first contact for UFOs and these other races is not to save us. Okay.
Yeah.
God helps those who helps themselves.
Yeah.
That's right from Lord Ashtar and the Ashtar command. They're not here to save us. They're here to kind of say, look, we have an opportunity. They have an opportunity too. There are 4 reasons. I got to see if I can find this. There are 4 reasons as to when they can have contact. Let me get a little drink. Because a lot of people ask, why haven't they done this already? And da 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 and da da. Here's the 4 reasons that they can't contact us. That the planet is a threat to itself and its own survival. Like a nuclear war. They can intercept and shut down a nuclear war. 2, a threat to other planets and their survival.
True.
3, a planet's evolution is holding up the rest of the cosmic family, which is happening right now.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Needs to make an adjustment to the other intergalactic races so they can evolve and are ready to move forward. And number 4, the planet is in a state of graduating to its next evolutionary cycle and reestablish its relationship with the Federation of Worlds and its local galaxy. So, okay, this is something that a lot of people don't realize in the UFO community when they say, oh, this isn't really going to happen. It's going to happen in my lifetime. Da, 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 da. I got news for Lord Ashtar, Jesus Christ, Lord Krishna, Maitreya, and the White Brotherhood and the Order of Melchizedek and everybody else out there. You don't have a choice. You don't have a choice anymore to wait. Why? Because if you want this experiment that started 4 billion years ago, when the Earth started and since humanity started, if you want this experiment to continue, we have too many nuclear bombs on this planet. They have to we have 5,000 in America and there's over 5,000 in Russia. There's too many nuclear warheads. Not all of them are active. But my point is to Lord Ashtar and Jesus Christ and to Krishna and to Buddha, Lord Buddha, and all of them. You don't have a choice. Okay? We had to wait. I started my mission 8 million years ago. I've been through hundreds of lifetimes. We're tired. Either you're going to get on with this or get out of the way, because those warheads. So I know I'm getting a little angry here because
that's okay.
We just waited so darn long and we've sacrificed so much that we deserve to be heard. We deserve, we're God's children. We deserve to be taken care of,
I agree.
So we're on that edge now. That's where I'm getting. We're almost, a lot of people are feeling it. And I know that sometimes, like Bashar, we'll do it on our time. And we'll, well, you don't have much time left. Either you're going to continue this experiment that's going on here, or humanity, Mother Earth can always take care of herself. She'll always survive anything.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we haven't treated her very, very kindly, but yes, I agree.
But
have you heard anything about, as far as like Ascension goes, like this solar flash and all that stuff from your?
I have what is called in astrology. I could get into.
Yeah,
I'm going to give you 3 timelines of first contact, specifically related to astrology and what's going on right now, because the transpersonal planets, Uranus, Pluto, and Neptune, they're doing a little dance. They started the dance in May of 2025, and they're going to do it till May of 2029. So we got a 4-year period here.
Okay.
Now, a regular grand trine
Mhm.
would look like, see that big
Yeah.
green? That's a grand trine. But the minor grand trine you can see is
Yep.
smaller. It has one trine and then two sextiles. And these are coming from Neptune, Pluto, and Uranus. And the very first time they came in alignment at 1 degree was in August and September of 2025. And then it extended till the rest of 2025. Now, what I found in my experience was, we didn't have a first contact, a global first contact. We've had contact all along, the Roswell. And
Absolutely. Yeah.
We're talking about a global thing. We didn't have it, but what we did have, at least in my experience personally and asking clients, was there was almost a complete shutdown. There was something being downloaded from higher dimensions to form, the foundation for the next 2 minor grand trines that are coming up. The next one coming up is going to be in July of 2026.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
That's when it's most potent. In other words, it's at 4 degrees. All those 3 planets I just talked about. Pluto creating purification. I just did a video on my YouTube called The Last Nail. Pluto trying to get to 3 degrees. So anytime a planet goes into a new sign, it takes 3 degrees before it starts feeling like it's comfortable in that sign. It makes an adjustment. So Pluto, it's like when a woman has a child, a father and a mother have a child, it takes till 3 years for that soul that feels like it's getting comfortable in a flesh body.
Yeah.
Starts to walk and talk. And same with astrology and these transpersonal planets. And what happens is Pluto is wrapping it up. It's at 3 degrees as we speak right now.
Okay.
Now it'll go to 4 degrees 5, then it's going to retrograde and come back to 3 again. This is going to be towards the middle of this year, 2026. And then it's finally going to reach the end of the 3 degree, around, I would say, Thanksgiving, Christmas of 2026. So we're seeing the last hurrah of purification. Pluto in Aquarius is about self-empowerment. Donald Trump, President Trump, is there to push everybody's buttons so that we can finally, we've had enough of this. We want to take power back into our own hands. We can't rely on big government and big healthcare and all that anymore. We need to have more of a voice in our own.
I definitely feel like he's a catalyst.
He's a catalyst.
Yeah.
Lord Astor calls him the cleanup man.
Okay.
Pulling weeds out of the earth to bring more room for light, to come in.
Yeah.
But the pushing and the shoving and the tooting one's horn, a lot of some of the UFO people are saying he's part of the White Hat Alliance. I asked Lord Astor, he said that that's not the case. He is not a part of the White Hat Alliance. He is a volunteer, but from the lower 5th dimension, because he's had so many lifetimes focusing on structure and building things.
Okay.
Real estate,
Yeah.
And physical real estate is much different than celestial real estate.
Yeah.
His investment is in physical real estate. It's not in celestial real estate. He's being pushed a bit towards that.
Okay.
But he does do some good things. So we don't want to pounce on him and say every negative thing about him. He does do some things that are good. But calling people stupid and you're a little piggy and you're an idiot.
Yeah, that I could do without. Yeah.
Yeah, they should bring squirt guns with them at the media and just start cooling them down. Just
that would be funny.
Take a shot of Trump vodka for God's sakes and calm down. I would tell them. Because we didn't vote. We don't vote for our government to call us names.
Yeah.
We vote for our government to help us get to a stable economy, a stable this, a stable that.
Yeah.
And so in a republic, they're supposed to be serving us, not us serving them.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep, exactly.
So that's going back to the minor grand trine. We've
Okay.
heard different astrologers like, what's her name? Peggy. Oh, Peggy. What's her name? She's on a lot on the YouTube channel. She's not older. She's young. She's wise.
It's
But
not
she's
over. That's not that
Gregory.
one.
Yeah.
Huh? Overseer? No, that's a channel.
Well, we'll get past this, but I think it's McGregory or something. But she's very good, and
Oh, you're talking about Pam Gregory?
yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Love her. Oh,
She's awesome,
yeah, I love her.
And I've heard her talk about this, and I've also heard other astrologers, but they're not. It's a minor grand trine. Okay, just call it what it's a minor grand trine, and the minor grand trine brings opportunities that a regular trine can't bring. So the foundation of this first minor grand trine, which happened in August and September of 2025, has laid the foundation. People were getting sick a lot. They needed to sleep a lot. We have a molecular cellular shift going on in physiology, right?
Yeah.
So it really is it drains you. So if you need to rest. Don't feel bad, especially if you're born under the water signs like Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer. We need more rest. I'm a Pisces. I have Cancer rising in my chart. And then I have 3 planets. I have the North Node and a couple planets in Scorpio. So you're just going to need to rest a little bit more. Don't feel guilty about it. But during that time, if you noticed, there was a shutdown and a rest. Where? Remember, the government.
Yep.
Government, the longest government shutdown in the history of
history, yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize this. The air traffic controllers were hard. They weren't getting paid. Some of them had to do another job. So a lot of the air traffic in the air, the ley lines, the axonal grid lines weren't being disrupted so they could download.
Ah, okay. That's what that was about. Okay.
They could download. Now, the Democrats caved in and said, we got to stop the government shutdown. Why did they do it? They did it because they knew that the other air traffic controllers were ready to do a complete walkout, and shut the whole air traffic industry down in the United States of America if they didn't do it. So we had this download from my old point. We had the download from the first, let's call it 8.0 download. Like you have a new version of Microsoft, you download it. We downloaded something from higher dimensions, from the 12th, the 9th, 8th, 7th, and they download to the 5th, they download to the 4th, and what frequency we can handle, depending on what frequency they're downloading. So that's like the blueprint set up by that first minor. The second minor grand trine in July of 2026 this year is building on that. And that's in July. Well, what's happening in July? We have the United States celebrating its 250th birthday.
Right.
This is going to be I'm calling this year, as most people are, the year of disclosures.
Isn't that the one the planetary parade is too? Is it July?
Very much. There's Mars, I think, moving into Leo, and you have, the North Node is going to move into Aquarius about the middle of August. So that means the South Node is going to be in Leo. There's a lot of Leo energy going on, but there is this minor grand trine. That's the main chief. Okay. Now we're going to get download 9.0 from the upper. Okay.
Yeah.
And that energy continues all the way for the rest of the year of 2000, but it's just most potent. In other words, you have Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto are in alignment at 4 degrees. The first expression was 1 degree. Now you got the minor grand trine at 4 degrees, all these 3 planets. Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury in Gemini. Communication from a higher telepathic communication, downloading these light codes that everybody's. This is a great time for spiritual stuff. Okay. Any kind of telepathic work, hypnosis, whatever you're doing, meditation, yoga. I mean, I'm getting shivers, just talking about it. Then we have Neptune in Aries, and Neptune in Aries is, it's taking the dreamy, sleepy kind of rose-colored glasses off of Neptune and trying to make it come into reality. Aries is the first expression of our zodiac in Western astrology. The spring equinox starts with Aries, okay?
Yeah.
And so we have what I would call an initiation energy in these three minor grand tribes. We're getting initiated from above.
Okay.
And it's wonderful. And so that'll go that then in 2027 is June will be the most fertile of this minor grand trine coming back together again at 6 degrees.
Right.
And that'll be download number 10, 10.0. So if we're going to see major contact, it's probably going to come within this period of May of 2025 to May of 2029. But those are the three ripest times as an astrologer that I would predict you could have a major situation happening that really wakes, where there's a lot of political leaders and religious leaders who have to answer a lot of questions to the public about this.
Yeah. Well, we're already starting that, but yeah.
Yeah, well, then we
okay.
ain't starting yet. Wait till it really gets started.
Yeah. So
I mean, we're starting, but yeah, you're right. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, you're fine. So, but as far as and I don't know, maybe you're not hearing a lot of this kind of stuff in your circles though, but everybody that I listen to and everybody that I talk to, they're talking about the great solar flash. You know, I mean,
I got to realize I've been in this for 47 years of meditation. I've studied under a lot of teachers. I've heard a lot of things along the way. Sister Tuella, who came out, best channeler for Lord Astor was Sister Tuella, came out with Project World Evacuation. This was in 1982.
Okay.
We were supposed to have a major evacuation here because the Earth was going to tilt on its axis and it was going to cause all kinds. If it's an emergency, real intense emergency, they can evacuate a planet in 15 minutes. All the people.
Well, yeah, I agree. I believe that. But from what I'm understanding, though, the solar flash isn't going to be that. It's going to be an ascension event.
Right. What I'm going to go along history.
Okay.
So that didn't happen. That's my point. Because 1987, we had the harmonic convergence. We had a global meditation. It raised the frequency up enough where they didn't, this project that Sister Tuella talked about, that's on standby. That's no longer needed at this point. Unless then came, You Are a Galactic Human by, as I already shown Sheldon and I don't know if you've seen. Well, they said we were supposed to go through a photon belt for 3 days darkness. That was in 1996.
Oh, okay.
Right? Now, that didn't happen. Now we got 2012. We have with the Mayan Incan thing and that didn't happen. I thought it was going to happen. Everybody thought. Now we're in 2026.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying to people is the most important thing that you can do if you want really have major contact, start meditating every day.
Yeah.
Stop avoiding silence. Stop running from yourself. Because if we can get into that and open up, it relaxes the auric field of the earth. It makes it more Shakti, feminine energy. And that's what they love, especially the Pleiadians. They love the soft, lunar kind of energy. They feed off of it. A lot of them. They have porous skin and everything, and they're able to absorb light rays from the sun and the moon. That's part of their diet.
Yeah.
And so the reason why I'm explaining that is because, Monica, it's because people get, you watch the YouTube. I can't watch it anymore. It's always somebody, this thing's going to happen. Major ships are going to turn around. And it's like, I've heard this so many times.
Yeah.
That yes, it is coming. Yes, there are more DNA strands that will be added so that we can have a more holographic experience of life. Yes, we're going to reverse aging. We're going to get rid of the health problems. Yes, we are going to have be able to live on a ship and have what I call in my book rotating real estate. Where sometimes you're living on a ship and sometimes you want to live. Now, the Sasani culture that Bashar belongs to, they live on the ship and they only visit their planet when they want to go for a walk or, periodically. They don't
Yeah.
develop a lot of city life there and stuff like that.
Huh.
But the thing that is, the rotating real estate, I think, is very interesting. Can you imagine traveling at some point and visiting other cultures on their
I
planet?
can, and I can't wait.
Mm,
You know, I'm very looking forward to that. Like, I'm
yeah,
really,
a lot of people are. But I would say this: after 47 years of meditation, and I wish Bashar in his formula would have also experiencing. I'm not trying to pick on Bashar. I'm sorry, Daryl Lanka. I love you. I love Bashar.
yeah.
I'm just saying, I don't want people who are viewing this who like Bashar to think that I'm not. I'm not saying I'm above him, but I'm just saying if you experience the least excited state of consciousness, that stillness, that should be a part of it. It should have been a part of Moses' 10 Commandments when he came down from the, commandment 1, thou shalt meditate every day.
That would have been a good one, right?
You know what I'm saying? It
Serious,
should
yeah.
be a part of our program. We're supposed to be meditating. We're supposed to be going
Yeah,
in,
yeah.
at least for now. Maybe that might change when we get to other galactic culture. Maybe we might not need to meditate that much. Aim has told me when I asked him, he says, what we do now, he's a part of the higher councils of the Pleiadians. So they're in the etheric more than the Pleiadian physical culture itself. They download information to the Pleiadian. They have their own government, and then they decide what they want to do with that information. But he said that they sit, when I asked him, well, what do you eat? I mean, he goes, what we do is we're like in a recliner. He shows it in my mind, a recliner position, like in a recliner chair. You're floating in the air, and they're absorbing. They have these little ducts, these little holes, and they're on top of the feet, the thighs, the lower abdomen, the third eye, and the heart area, and they absorb lunar or solar rays of light.
I was just going to ask you about that.
And while they're doing that, they're still, so they consider that their meditation.
Okay.
So now they get fed this energy, they recharge, and then they're off.
Yeah.
Okay. Things move very fast up there,
Yeah.
What it takes us here to develop in let's say 100 years, they can do it in 10 years. So everything's moving very fast. This is the slowest, sluggish planet probably in the entire universe, although some authors think there's other planets like this. I just think it's a flesh body planet, but that's how they feed. That's how they feed. So they don't need all the organs that we have and everything inside themselves.
My question was going to be, do you think we'll ever get to that stage where we can just live off of light as opposed to needing sustenance?
You have to grow.
Yeah. I
think people hearing this should be satisfied if you can live 300 years without any health problems and you look like you're 25 for the 300 years. That's enough for me.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But you will be
imagine the things we could get done.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Imagine the things we could do. Ooh.
Elon Musk has already said that they have robots that are going to be ready to go in 2030. So that's not that far away from now. They're going to take over manufacturing jobs. In the upper worlds, there is no physical form of money.
Yeah.
They work for the great I am presence.
Yeah.
They work for God. They don't.
And I can't wait until we get to that point.
Yeah, they don't work for a small handful of international banking families.
Yeah.
Look how stressed out President Trump is.
Yeah.
Look at him. I would say to him,
he's aged so much.
Absolutely. I would say to him, why don't you go to the international banking families and make a deal with them and have them forgive 50% of our debt instead of going around and pushing around every country in the world to try and make money to bring that debt through tariffs. Go to them. They're the ones that are doing the problem. They're the problem.
Yeah.
Why you should be mad at them, not at every
I don't
country.
see but I don't see them
ripping us
that.
off. These countries
I don't see them giving up anything. Those families, I don't see them giving up anything.
Well, actually, your viewers are going to be interested in what I'm going to say about that.
What's that?
Because I think they actually are on the road. Yes, because when you go to cryptocurrency or Bitcoin, or you go to the quantum financial system, which is supposed to be a digital wallet, that doesn't involve the international banking system.
So do you think, have you heard about the quantum financial system? Is that kind of what you're talking about? Is the QFS?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That is
I've been wondering about that, and I keep hearing it. Everybody keeps saying, well, they're going to have, an emergency broadcast system doing this and that, and it's going to happen here, and it's going to happen then, and all those dates obviously.
It's already starting to happen. No, it's
Yeah.
already starting to happen with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and all that. But you got to take the baby steps to pull away from this. This international banking system that families that has had such control since they started. And then eventually we end up like they do in some of the other races where there's no money involved at all.
Yeah.
I don't care what you want to call it. You can call it quantum financial system. You're still limiting abundance.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're still creating a limit, and you're creating competition still. Who's got more Bitcoin? What about the woman now that's been kidnapped? We've been watching on. They're trying to. People will try to kidnap somebody so they can get at their Bitcoin account.
Yeah.
We need to get to a point of realizing that we need to trust in Mother Nature 100%.
Oh, I agree. Yeah.
An apple tree doesn't ask the farmer, you got to pay me so much money before I produce apples.
Yeah.
It just produces the apples.
Well, a little water, maybe a little food, but,
No, but I mean, abundance is natural.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
When we get into the new raised consciousness, get into the new financial, idea of abundance, all the books of the New Age movement that have been put out by authors on abundance, you take them and just throw them up, just take them up. You don't need them anymore.
Yeah.
You don't have a division. You don't have a mortgage payment anymore. You don't have a car loan anymore. You don't have credit card debt anymore. You don't have anything. That's all run by the international banking system.
Yeah. That's going to be really interesting when that happens at first, because I feel like there's going to be so many people, and it's mostly the manipulative people that are manipulating us now, where that's just not going to be enough. You know what I mean? Their needs are taken care of, but that's just not going to be enough.
Well, the wheat shall be separated from the chaff. That's what Jesus Christ said, if anybody's listening to him. You know. He also said that you cannot. Now, Jesus, by the way, Sananda, they call him. He is the CEO of the International, Galactic Universal Confederation. But he also said that you cannot serve two masters, money and God.
That's true. Yeah, I agree.
He also said the meek shall inherit the earth.
Yeah, he did.
He also said that it's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven.
Ah, never heard that one.
Well, what is your investment? Is it in celestial real estate or is it in the physical real estate here? That's the question that everybody's going to have to answer if they want to continue the revolution here. And meditation and spirituality and a lot of the knowledge that came out of India, it is valuable. I know a lot of the gurus have fallen from grace and they've done things that are inappropriate with their students and stuff. But the knowledge itself, they're only on 2 strands of DNA. And the 2 strands of DNA is human animal expression.
Yeah.
It's not human divine expression. So we forgive them for their faults. I'm not perfect, I'm not a celibate and all that kind of stuff, but we have to have some elbow room there. Not a lot of elbow room. I mean, if it's
forgiveness is, I think we all have to do that. It's not. I think that's non-negotiable personally. Forgiveness, and my huge thing that I always tell everybody is quit being so judgmental.
Oh yeah.
You gotta quit with that.
You are so right. Everything. This is I call it the label sticker planet. Are you Democrat? Are you Republican? Do you have white skin? Do you have black? Are you in a female body? Are you in a male body? It goes on and on and on with all these labels. And it just doesn't allow us to relax and feel unified.
Yeah.
It separates.
That's absolutely true. I agree.
Sorry if I'm going on so much here, I guess.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Let me check time. I think we've got. Oh yeah, we're at like an hour and a half.
So go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You have a question?
No, I was going to say, let me look through my questions, but what were you going to say?
Now, I just wanted to reiterate how thankful I am to Bashar, because for all of us who've waited so long, I've held up the books. It's been a long time. We really appreciate help with this from the Sasani culture level to try and keep this dialogue going and keep our minds open to something that is calling to the year 2027, the year of miracles. I think that we are really very close. I know there's a lot of doubting Thomases out there.
Yeah.
But hang in there to the light workers, I would say. Hang in there. Keep your faith. Hold your energy. It really is close. I'm getting tingling. It's close now. We're close,
Yeah, for sure.
So that third download of the Minor Grand Trine in June of 2027, and that energy runs till about the middle of January 2028. We should see some major change.
Well, Bashar has been saying lately.
Yeah.
2026, 2027. So
yeah, he's been saying that. They've been wearing the t-shirts that say everything changed in 2000. Then he goes back and forth. He is a wobbler.
Yeah.
But
I understand that. Things change too.
And he's not the only.
Things are fluid. Yeah.
You got everybody involved now. Everybody, put everybody at the table. Don't get too localized to one area, because there's Lord Ashtar and the Ashtar Command. There's, the Syrians. You got all these books that I've held up, all these different. So just get everybody, read a lot and get everybody's viewpoint so that you're ready, because the people that are going to be most attracted to Bashar in the end and his Sasani culture, they're meant, that's perfection. Okay. They're meant to be there. Maybe I'm meant to be with the Pleiadians, or I'm going to, whatever, but I've been involved with a lot of different groups along the way. So, and some of us are, we get how do you say, birds of the same feather flock together.
Yeah.
And nobody's better, nobody's more evolved, or nobody has all the answers. But it's got to be some better answers who we're getting from our leaders in politics, religion, and in the healthcare system on this planet. We have to move forward in a more enlightening way and not animalistic way.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree. Okay, one more question, and then we will wrap this up.
Okay.
From your perspective, how much of human trauma is personal and how much is planetary or collective?
It's both, but I would put more of an emphasis on the personal, your personal choices, what you decided to do, and acceptance of the fact that, and you already know this, Monica, that, we chose our parents, we chose our environment before we were born. So that might not sound too great to some people because they were born in a family of drug addicts or alcoholics and, really sexual abuse.
But those are the people that came down here to really learn.
You're never really a victim, but that doesn't mean that you haven't been victimized.
True. Yep, exactly.
And I think that it comes 70% on a personal level, 30% from other people. I hate to say it at my age, but I've gotten to the point where my best advice is to stay away from as many Earth humans as you possibly can. All right. For now, hold the energy, and then there's going to be plenty of opportunity to have a very lively social life. Aquarius, the sign where when we get to the age of Aquarius, is about community living and working with other. Love thy neighbor, you love thyself. There is time, but I think for now, there's so much weird stuff going on out there.
Yeah.
I do
go within. People need to go within right now instead of,
And that doesn't mean you have to spend hours meditating. 20 minutes.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to let people know that.
I mean, some people like to. I know people that are, meditate for 3 hours a day, but
it's
not necessary. You don't have
too much of anything cannot be. You're going to have a psychological, emotional fallout, and I've seen this where people meditate too much. If you eat too much food, you throw up. Yep. If you drink too much alcohol, you get so drunk. Anything that you do, too much sex, you lose all your energy. You really need to have moderation in life.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I love that. That was a good answer. Well, I really appreciate I really enjoyed talking to you, and
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you coming on, and
Thank you.
maybe we need to have you on again, because I have a feeling you have a lot more to tell and share.
Well, certainly the book, the Kindle book that's on Amazon, Full Moon
Yeah.
Messages from the Pleiadians. You just put that in the subject field, and it's really cheap. It's like $9.99.
Yeah.
All the information, a lot of that, gotten a lot more information like going
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate you.
I will definitely share that in the show description. And anything else that you've given me to share, I will put that in there. But I really enjoyed talking to you today.
Yeah, too. Thank you so much. I
Yeah,
appreciate
thank
it.
you.
God bless you.
Oh, bless you.
Namaste.
Thanks for watching. If you've had a traumatic abduction experience and you'd like some help, or if you'd like to be on the show, you'll find the links in the description. And I'd really appreciate it if you'd like, subscribe, and share. It really helps me out.